What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Newsday Tuesday, which, if I do say so myself, might be the most exciting news day we've ever had. Taren Bizone encounters a truck, very drastically. There are doping scandals going on in the world of endurance sports, and we have some of the most exciting full Ironman distance racing to ever be live streamed. Stick around. So triathletes, welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where every single news day we go over all of the triathlonisms going on around the world. Make sure you stick around to the end where we do everyone's favorite part of Triathlon Newsday Tuesday. That is a story from the Trainiac community. And as always, links to everything that I talk about will be in the description below. And let's start off with the unfortunate news of Taren Bizone, who has had one of the best 2018s of any pro triathlete on the circuit, racing a number of times, winning back to back to back. Unfortunately, that came to an end last week as he was struck by a car, being rushed to the hospital, initially checked in serious condition. Later that day, he was upgraded to stable. Now, apparently, the driver of the truck pulled over to see what was happening and then immediately sped off. So, very sorry to hear that this has happened to Taren. We haven't unfortunately heard a lot from Taren or his family, so wish him well and hope that he's doing okay. Now, in doping scandals, Chris Froome over in the Tour de France. I know it's another sport, but it's Tour de France time. Let's talk about it. He has been undergoing court proceedings for a failed drug test that's happened over the last couple years. Now, at the very last minute, basically right up until the time that Team Sky would have to decide whether Chris Froome would be able to go into the Tour de France or not, he was cleared of that failed drug test. Now, before you say that there's a lot of fishiness going on, Lance Armstrong actually commented on this, and he's got a fair bit of experience in just this thing. And he said that he had all the money in the world, and even Lance Armstrong wasn't able to get out of his court proceedings, so he didn't believe that anything like that was going on with Chris Froome. Chris Froome, however, did not get off scot-free because as he was rolling in to the team's presentation a couple days prior to the start of the Tour de France, he was booed and whistled at by the crowd. They did not like him very much. In short course, the fast folk, ITU Racing, they announced their World Triathlon Series calendar of events for 2019. Features a lot of the same events that we've seen over the series in the past 3 years or so. There are 8 events starting in Abu Dhabi, wrapping up at the grand final in Lausanne, Switzerland. Now in half Ironman racing, Ironman 70.3 Ecuador was won by Igor Amorelli in 3:52.30, and our pal Lauren Brandon won the women's race in 4:22.52. Half Ironman Jacobing happened over the weekend as well, with Florian Engert winning the men's race in 3:50.51, and 2012 Olympic silver medalist by just the width of a saddle sore, Lisa Norden won in 4:18.17. But the big news in Ironman distance racing was the European Championships held in Frankfurt. This was pitting Jan Frodeno against Patrick Lange. We got a little bit of a grudge match going on there. And then on the women's side, Daniela Ryf was squaring off against Annie Haug and Rachel McBride, who have had fantastic seasons. Sarah Crowley, who placed 3rd on the podium in Kona, in behind Ryf, and Sarah True, who has made a really big storm onto the scene in long distance racing. She was making her debut at the full Ironman distance race. So this was shaping up to be amazing. And on top of it all, we got to watch it live streamed on Facebook. And they did a fantastic job of covering this race. Now in the end, Jan Frodeno won the men's race in 8 hours flat, 58 seconds, clocking a 2:39.06 marathon, in which he basically gained the entire distance of the marathon on Patrick Lange. Now keep in mind that Lange broke the run course record in Kona and is looked at as one of the best runners in full Ironman distance racing. Jan Frodeno making that statement of outrunning him, that's pretty profound here. And before you say that 8 hours is not a very fast time, the course did feature 5 additional kilometers of a bike course, going 185 kilometers. On the women's side, Daniela Ryf, holy smokes! Daniela Ryf won in a time of 8:38.34, which placed her 7th overall amongst the men as well, and almost 27 minutes ahead of second place Sarah True. Congratulations to Sarah for making such an awesome half Ironman debut, and congratulations to another Sarah Crowley, for rounding out the podium and finishing 3rd. Now, a quick update on the Triathlon Taren podcast, which just so happens to be the highest rated triathlon podcast in the world, because we have had excellent guests over the last year, like Sarah Crowley and Sarah True. We just released one of the first interviews that Matt Russell has done publicly since his crash in Kona that nearly killed him. He's returned to Ironman distance racing, and we released that podcast on Sunday, so go check that out. Over the past week, we did 2 podcasts while I was down in Los Angeles, one with Michael Collins, who is a coach down there, and our very first 2-time guest, Jerry Rodriguez. Both of them are very swim instructional focused podcasts, getting away from that kind of storytelling with the background of these coaches. We got right into the meat of things. So if you're looking for some good triathlon swimming knowledge, make sure you subscribe to the Triathlon Taren podcast wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss those 2 episodes. Now, let's get into everyone's favorite part of Triathlon News Day. That is a story from the Trainiac community. Today's comes from Mike Wigginton, and he's sharing a story about his mom, Mickey. He says, "Hey Taren, I did my first sprint triathlon at age 12. My mom, Mickey, was there to cheer me on. I'm now 34, have done quite a few tries over the years, and my mom has never missed a single one. My mom is 64 and has always struggled with her weight. But last year, I talked her into getting a new bike, and she quickly started increasing her mileage until one day she asked if I thought she could finish a triathlon. Without hesitation, I told her that I knew she could. For the past year, she's been training diligently, getting faster and losing weight. But within that, she's faced quite a few setbacks. A broken collarbone first, then a torn meniscus. Then she broke the other collarbone, all while working 2 full-time jobs, as well as being a full-time caregiver for my grandparents and a grandmother to 8 kids. I knew she wouldn't be qualifying for Kona, but I was confident that she would finish her first race. And that race was this past Saturday. She did better than she could have hoped. Her goal was simply to not be last and finish under 2 hours. Well, she beat about 25 other people and finished in 1:50, also getting on the podium, placing 2nd in her age group. This race also turned out to be a family affair, as my 15-year-old nephew completed his first Olympic distance race. I finished my race in 2 hours 30 minutes, winning my age group and staying in my first top 10. My 3 sons also competed in the kids' try the day prior. Most importantly, my mom is hooked now, already looking for another try to enter later this summer. As you can tell from the pics, my mom also embroidered us all matching bright neon race day sweatshirts, which say, "Unless you puke, faint, or die, keep going." I like your style, Mickey. I hope you can pass this on and get some inspiration into the rest of the Trainiac community. Thank you for the inspiration as well, because it keeps us all going. Thank you, Mike, and thanks, Mickey. Congratulations, that is awesome. I wanted to share this because 2 things. Number 1, Mickey, that's awesome. Taking up triathlon at any age is totally doable, and you're proving that and inspiring a lot of Trainiacs. So thank you and good job. And the fact that this is a family event is a perfect example of how great triathlon is for tying not just people together with friends and training partners, but also with the rest of their family. So that's awesome. If you want to get your story shared here on Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, email me at Taren@triathlontaren.com. And if you aren't yet subscribed and you dig these Triathlon Newsdays that come out every Tuesday, hit the subscribe button below. And if you are subscribed, just keep being awesome. Later, Trainiacs.